Hello, my name is Marisa Cleveland, and this is my Research 2 Assignment 5 draft of my Doctoral Proposal Elements titled Toward Understanding the Role of Community Leadership Development Programs on Building Engaged Communities. This research will investigate the lived experiences of Community Leadership Development Program alumni and how participating in the program deepened their understanding of community engagement and how the relationships formed through the Community Leadership Development Program enhanced or limited their community engagement. Currently, the marginalized and oppressed struggle for community betterment, Matan, 2008. Communities with strong local leaders tend to have a positive impact on social issues, such as lower crime rates, higher performing schools, and more effective government, Azam and Rigio, 2003. Low community engagement leads to lack of trust within a community, high crime rates, high levels of unemployment, poverty, and subsequently poor education, Sagert and Winkle, 2004. Creating local networks of community members creates a climate where more people are willing to work toward a goal, Basler, Brazier, and Fogel and Treverno, 2008. Although many scholarly articles pertain to community development programs and leadership development programs, Abravanel, Pindus, and Theodis, 2010, Buck, 2003, and Galloway, 1997, limited research exists that focuses on how Community Leadership Development Program alumni develop an understanding, motivation, and skills related to community engagement. This research is relevant for individuals interested in becoming civically engaged, improving their community, or sponsoring an emerging leader who would benefit from participating in a community leadership development program. The central research question is, how do community leadership development programs contribute to engaged communities? In order to understand how, the question is divided into 3 parts. How do Community Leadership Development Program alumni define community or civic engagement? How do Community Leadership Development Program alumni describe their personal experience developing community or civic engagement? How do the relationships formed through Community Leadership Development Programs enhance or limit their community or civic engagement? Understanding the role of community leadership development programs is important for several reasons. Extant literature on community leadership development programs focuses on the competencies of the participants. Apalia, Martin, Gastier, Keating, and Pig, 2012. After the race riots in the 1960s, the formation of civic leadership programs was a way to bring the community together. Azam and Rigio, 2003. Currently, the marginalized and oppressed struggle for community betterment. Matan, 2008. Low community engagement leads to lack of trust within the community, high crime rates, high levels of unemployment, poverty, and subsequently poor education. Sagard and Winkle, 2004. Local governments are perhaps the most important level of government for their residents because local elected leaders impact their constituents far more frequently than either state or federal government. For this reason, community leadership development programs connecting elected officials with local leaders in the private and nonprofit sectors will achieve the most effective outcomes by focusing on topics that relate to knowledge and awareness of the particular community. By utilizing a collaborative leadership approach, Van Vactor, 2012, Rayland, 2006, framed within the social network theory, strong leaders can unite a community and reduce unemployment, poverty, and poor education. The purpose of this interpretative phenomenological analysis will be to understand Community Leadership Development Program alumni's experiences within a large county in Southwest Florida in order to understand the role community leadership development programs play in building engaged communities. Because who a person is shapes how that person perceives the world, this research and an achievable solution would highlight the attention on the demographics of local communities and the residents who reside there. Briscoe, 2005. My perspectives of this issue regarding local leaders in fostering community engagement is, for the most part, limited to the constraints placed upon me by the perceived societal norms and the role models who raised me to understand them. The individuals with the most influence upon my childhood development include my adoptive family, my Catholic school teachers, and my coaches and teammates, all with conflicting messages. I was born in South Korea and adopted and raised in New Hampshire by white Catholics, where higher education was not only encouraged, but also expected. Because today's societies are far more diverse than in the past, race will play a large factor in how leaders will need to approach actively pursuing more community engagement to improve their constituents' lives. Parsons, 2008. The central theme to this study is discovering how participants in the Community Leadership Development Program collaborate to create a more engaged community. Therefore, collaborative leadership through the social network theory serves as a useful theoretical framework. Social networks and network influence have been studied by researchers for decades, beginning with the early work of Emil Durkheim, Tao and Papachristos, 2015, Valentin Pitts, 2017. The concept of a social network refers to how humans connect and communicate within relationships, social groupings, and friendships. Merchant, 2012. Cook-Cragg, 2010, used social network theory to examine how individuals and entities are likely to connect with others in two ways, with those sharing similar characteristics and with those sharing geographical proximity. These two assumptions are relevant in studying community leadership development programs, as the participants in the program share similar characteristics and are geographically located within one community. The focus of leadership and leadership development is expanding beyond competencies to include networks and relationships. Social network theorists examine the social phenomenon framed by relationships between people, teams, or organizations. Relationships are critical in assessing networks. Leadership networks provide support for participants and increase their individual and collective ability to affect change. Berman, 2015, page 302. As Booten, 2010, notes, qualitative research is about words and stories. This qualitative, interpretative, phenomenological analysis will best allow me to acquire meaningful data related to the participants' experiences in the program. The program is a year-long endeavor with sessions allowing for local leaders to network and learn about a variety of industries in the community. This research requires meaningful data resulting from the lived experiences of the participants in the Community Leadership Development Program. In order to investigate the ways the program impacts community engagement, a qualitative methodology will be utilized. Since the study will focus on one community leadership development program, my plan is to interview graduates of the program in my community. While keeping the focus on social network theory and collaboration, the questions will focus on three parts: the impact of the Community Leadership Development Program on their community engagement, and the quality of their relationships with the participants before, during, and after the program. According to Yang, Zhang, and Spiro, 2010, people's movement behaviors are strongly affected by their social interactions with each other, page 6. Leaders belong to social circles and have social interactions with their families, friends, and coworkers. A community is a social network, and individuals interact more frequently with people in their own community. By examining social ties and concepts of community, placing leaders in proximity to each other will help their identities develop and emerge through interaction. Merchant, 2012. The social network theory, when applied to the community leadership development programs, is a way to examine and understand how community stakeholders and citizens from varying backgrounds create relationships to solve community issues. When initiatives fail, one key method of reviewing why through the social network theory is to explore whether the participants networked effectively and whether all the stakeholders were present. Cook-Cragg, 2010. The effectiveness of the community leadership development programs promoting collaborative leadership to enhance community engagement relies on community leaders to create relationships where there is not one direct supervisor, but rather a partnership among the team to encourage creative thinking and increase productivity. Crow, 2003. The social network theory allows researchers to frame how they understand why individuals become participants in community leadership development programs, and to better comprehend how participants interact and form connections. These relationships, when viewed through the social network lens, explain the significance of creating different types of networks. Since evidence suggests that communities with strong civic engagement and strong local leadership tend to have lower crime rates, better schools, and more effective government institutions, Azam and Riggio, 2003, communities with community leadership development programs designed to promote community engagement and foster sustainable relationships for positive change will benefit. Thanks for taking the time to view my draft of my doctoral proposal elements.